Hello and welcome back to the channel. This is Love Those Locks and this is my combining journey. I've had these Sisterlocks for 7.5 years, and at the end of last year, December 2025, I decided to stop retightening my Sisterlocks and to stop going to my consultant for my retightenings. Now we've got a full playlist, but what we've decided to do is do monthly updates. This is the first of our monthly updates, and we've made this a 1 to 6 month update because this period has been a period of transition where I have combined my Sisterlocks in different ways, which I will show you in a minute. So we've got the 1 to 6 as one block, and after this month we'll have monthly updates showing you what's happened each month so that you can follow my journey. And as I say, my last retightening was at the end of last year. I decided, once I saw a photograph of my crown area immediately after that retightening, to stop my retightnings altogether. So when my husband took that photograph and I looked at my scalp, I realized at that point that I no longer wanted to retighten my Sisterlocks and that I would start to combine them, and this is the combining journey. So having made that decision, the next decision to make was how to do that. So I've done it in 3 ways. I've got hairline Sisterlocks that I've combined. I've also done some plaiting combining at the root level, and I have a test lock here that I have combined by plaiting all the way down to the end. So let's have a look at where we are 6 months in. Now I've got my trusty piece of paper here which I'm going to use to show you, but let's do a quick tour so that you can see all of the Sisterlocks and what they're doing at this stage. So if you have a little look at the front section here, you can see some regrowth, a little bit at the side section. Have a look at the crown section. And have a look at the back. Now overall, they look pretty much as they did, except for the roots. So let's see what's happening at the roots. So what I've decided to do is I've combined, I still have some individual lots that haven't been combined because I've just done it on a piecemeal basis. I've done a few here, a few there at different times. So I've got them combined in 2s, I've got them combined in 3s, and also some 4s. So let me show you what I mean. And what I've done is I've combined them at the roots, and we've got lots of birds joining in with the video now. So here's one at the crown where you can see the regrowth, but you can also see where it was combined here, and the 2 original Sisterlocks. So that's one example. I'll show you a few different ones so that you can see how they differ. I've got another one here, which is also a twosome. You can see where it's combined and where it's split off. I've also got here, I think this is a threesome. Let's have a look. So you can see the growth. If I pull, you can see the growth there. You can see where they're joined, where they're combined. But this is actually a foursome. So you can see the 4 different parts where they've joined, and they've come together to form quite a nice thickness there at the root. What else have we got? And we've got different ones. They all look slightly different depending on where they are. Here I've got another twosome. These ones are quite thin, so I'm probably going to combine them. And if we have a look there, that's another twosome. And what else have we got? Yeah, here's another lot that are combined. And you can see those. And what I've done to combine those ones, what I did was I plaited them together. And in fact, I can show you now, if I grab the one that has grown out, so let's see, ideally if I can get a single one, let's see. Looking for a single one. There were loads earlier. Okay. Here we've got 2 sets of 2, but they're quite small. And these would be very good candidates to combine because, as you can see, they're not particularly thick at the roots. So what I'm going to do is just combine them by plaiting the roots together. So hopefully you can see how I'm doing that. Let's make sure I remove any other locks out of the way. And I'm just plaiting with that loose piece of hair that was hanging around. Plaiting those together. And then with a leftover piece of hair, just wrapping it round. Like so. And now we have a brand new foursome, which are combined and hanging together. So I'm going to do that as each of the areas grows out. I'll either just replait the roots or combine others where I've got single locks. Here's one, for example, that's on its own. So this is a very good candidate to add to some adjoining locks. So this one, I would just plait that in, probably using some loose hair. But I just plait it in lightly, not tight. So you saw me hold on to that single one and the 2 next to it. Plait them together where there's some loose hair. And then twist around the loose hair. I did damp my hair earlier, so it's going to sort of curl back on itself. And here you can see the freshly combined, that single one and the 2 combined ones that were next to it. So I'm going to do that as the hair grows out. I've also got, I'll show you a couple of others. So around my hairline, I have 2 thin areas here. And I do already have some combined locks, but I will show you this one that was combined probably a year ago. Now, I call these my hairline combined roots. So I had 2 Sisterlocks which were as thin as the end here, side by side. And what I did was I cut one of them near the root but left enough hair, undid the Sisterlock and then plaited it in or twisted it in, and then over time that hair from the cut Sisterlock was then retightened into the Sisterlock next to it, if that makes sense. So now when you look at this particular Sisterlock, you can see it's quite thick at the roots and then it becomes thin. And this thinness is the original thinness of the 2 Sisterlocks that were side by side. And I think with these hairline ones, I'm going to just leave them as they are for now, because that part of the hairline is very delicate. But for the rest of it, like here, you can see it's thicker. So I will go in and combine these in the way you just saw me plaiting the roots. And likewise here, where I've got a lot of growth. I'll just show you. You can see, and this is a single one, so I'm going to combine this single one with the 2 next to it that are already combined. You can see all the regrowths, and I will just plait those together. So I will do that, and that's how I'm going to maintain, an answer to the question that I often get on the channel is how I'm going to maintain the growth and prevent matting. I'm going to do that by staying on top of the regrowth, but I am not going to do it tightly. I won't do it tightly because the point here is not to replicate the tightness of the retightenings that I was having before. The point here is to keep the roots as loose as possible, but encourage the hair to grow together in thicker locks, which ultimately will be stronger. So that's how I'm combining those. So that's what it's looking like. What's the journey been so far? What are my feelings about it? I'm really enjoying the journey. I'm enjoying the fact that I've got all of this thick growth around the roots. This is great. And I believe that the thinning area in the crown is now looking better than it was. It certainly doesn't look as pulled. It's not painful either. And as with anything, it will probably take a while for it to recover fully, but I'm confident that it's not being put under any additional stress. So it is going to pick up over time. It may not be the thickest part of my hair, probably got thicker areas in different parts, but it's enough that I don't have more tension in that area, which would over time make the hair thinner still. I'm enjoying this new journey very much, and I'm looking forward to seeing where things are going to go. I'm very much looking forward to it, and I will keep reporting. What else did I want to? So this is what it looks like now. As you can see, if you look overall, you can actually see bits of hair sticking up, and you know, it's still very much in its grid formation, but as I'm combining them, parts of the grid are disappearing. But remember that it's been trained to grow in the grid for a number of years, so the grid isn't automatically going to disappear. There are still some very clear lines where the grid is still, and I think over time it'll probably take years actually for the grid to fully disappear, where the hair is then fully doing its own thing without these visible lines. But it's a gradual process, so that is great. What are we doing to get, so I've mentioned the point that I'm not going to, when I do the recombining, I won't do it too tightly, because the point is not to add extra tension, which I've taken away by not continuing to retighten with my Sisterlocks consultant. Where I am on this journey now, I'm happy, system free, pain free, and yeah, a lot happy with where the journey is going. I will keep you updated with how things are going and how these locks are progressing. I will also do an updated lock count, because as I combine more of them, then that I will of course have fewer locks, so we'll continue to report on those. And I also wanted to say, in the next video we are going to look at a Q&A, because I've had quite a few questions on the channel, including the question about what I'll be doing as it grows through, which I hope I've answered fully in this video. So we will do a Q&A in the next video. And yeah, so thank you very much for watching. Look forward to seeing you then. Please like, share, comment and subscribe. And also there's the hype video, the hype button, which I'm aware of, so please hype the video as well. Thank you very much, and until next time, see you then. Bye.